You can be good at your job and still be invisible at work. You show up, you do what you are told, you finish your work, you fix problems when they reach you, and you probably think that eventually somebody is going to notice. But then you look around and somebody else gets the opportunity. Somebody else gets trusted with the important project. Someone else gets asked for their opinion. And you are doing exactly what you have always been doing. That's frustrating because from your perspective, you're doing everything right. But there's a difference between being good at your job and being visible for what you can actually do beyond your job. And if you're the quiet person, this difference matters even more. Because you probably do not walk into the room looking for attention. You rather do the work and let the results speak. The problem is that work does not always speak for you. Sometimes you have to make the work visible. Not by bragging, not by becoming the last person in the room, but by becoming somebody or someone who sees something before everyone else has to point it out. That is what changes how people see you. The problem with being reactive, look at how most employees operate. Someone gives them a task, they complete it. Someone gives them another task, they complete that one too. A problem appears, they fix it. A manager asks for an update, guess what? They give the update. Then, you know what they do? They go home. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? That is how you become dependable. But if that's all people see from you, they only have evidence that you can execute instructions. They do not necessarily have evidence that you can identify what needs to happen next. That distinction is huge. Think about two employees. Both are competent. Employee A waits for the assignment. Employee B notices that three different people are wasting time because nobody has organized the process. Employee A completes every single task perfectly. Employee B says, I notice we keep losing time here. I mapped out what is happening and I think we can simplify it. Who looks like they're ready for more responsibility? Employee A or Employee B? Probably Employee B, not because Employee A is worse, but because Employee B created something that nobody asked for. That is initiative. And initiative is not doing random things without permission. It is noticing a problem inside your area of responsibility and taking the first useful step towards solving it. And stop waiting for opportunity, because this is where quiet people get stuck. You may be waiting for the perfect opportunity to demonstrate what you can do, whether that's on a big project, a leadership position, a formal assignment. You find here somebody saying, Derrick, or whatever your name is, I want you to take the lead on this project, but the opportunity may never arrive. You have to look at the work already sitting in front of you. Where's the friction? Where are people repeatedly asking the same questions? Where does information get lost? Where does everyone complain about the same problem? Where is everyone doing something manually that could be made easier? That is where you start. You do not need a giant project. You need a small problem that you can actually move. Because the easiest way to show leadership is to solve something that does not need another meeting. You can be incredibly observant and still get no credit for being observant, because nobody can see what's happening inside of your head. You might say in a meeting and notice immediately that the plan is missing something. You might recognize that the deadline is unrealistic. You might know exactly why a process keeps failing, but if you see nothing, nobody knows. And I'm not telling you not to speak every time you have a thought. That would create a different problem. I am saying that when you have something useful or useful observation, learn how to put it into a sentence. Try something like this. I noticed that this is happening. I think the cause is here. Now, I recommend that we do whatever recommendation you're going to do next. And that's enough. You don't need a 5-minute explanation. You don't need to prove you're the smartest person in the room. You're simply putting your judgment where others can see it. And at least personally, I think that matters. Because people cannot truly trust judgment that they have never witnessed. You don't need to take over. Some people hear this and immediately go too far. They start making decisions that aren't theirs. They start changing processes without telling anyone. They start stepping on other people's responsibilities, and that is an initiative. That is creating more problems. There's a simple boundary. Own what is yours. Recommend what is not. If you have the authority to fix something, fix it. If you do not, bring the person who does have authority a clear recommendation. For example, I found the issue. Here are 2 ways we can handle it. I recommend the first one because it will reduce the extra work. That is completely different from I changed the whole process without telling everyone. Funny. One shows judgment, the other shows risk. You don't need to overstep to become visible. You need to become useful where the point where decisions are made. Be the person who brings the clarity. And here's a simple test for you. Think about the last time your team was confused. Maybe nobody knew who was responsible for something. Maybe there were 5 different competing priorities. Maybe everyone had different information. What did you do? If you waited for someone else to sort it out, you were reacting. If you gathered information and helped clarify the situation, you were creating movement. That can be simple as saying, here is what I understand so far. Then left the facts. This is the deadline. This is what is complete. This is what is missing. This is the decision we need. Now, everyone knows where they stand. You do not need a leadership title. You do not need to dominate the conversation. All you did was simply reduce confusion. And guess what? People remember that. So, here's something I want you to change. Stop waiting for every problem to be assigned to you. Start looking for problems you can legitimately move. Stop bringing complaints without a next step. Start bringing observation and recommendations. Stop assuming your work automatically speaks for itself. Start making useful results visible. Stop thinking quiet means passive. Start using your ability to observe as a reason to act. You don't need to become the loudest person at work. You don't need to become a politician. You don't need to chase attention. You need to become the person who sees what needs to happen, and take the next appropriate step. Because being good at your job proves that you can do the work. Showing judgment proves that you can handle more. And if you want people to see you differently, you have to give them something different to see. If this helped, subscribe. I make videos for introverted professionals who want their work and their judgment taken seriously.